one of the points that I think we have to take in mind when we talk about migration is that migrants are not only men, and as we know that, but I think it's still important to remember that there is women have always migrated, and now they migrate since some years in a different ways, more in an autonomous way, starting the path to another place. So this is what we call feminization. Not only the fact that women migrate, but that they migrate in a pioneering way. I think this is important to mention because during these 2 days we talked a lot of migration, but it remained very neutral in a way. So I think it's still necessary to mention that. And this feminization of migration helps us to also to give to underline. To give visibility to a sort of different work also, a sort of invisible work, which is the work that not all, but many migrant women do, which is care work, cleaning work, or undervalued work. So I think this is important. Although also women do not migrate only for economic reasons, not only for work, but also to realize dreams. I think one of the persons today mentioned that, and it's important to notice, just to participate in new relations, social relations, create new relations, but it's important to give visibility to that kind of work also. Another point that I think is really important to mention is that, and it has been said in a way, but I think it's important to say that women contribute hugely to that. Migration, it was mentioned with a lot of interesting data by Raoul yesterday, contributes to prosperity and should not be seen as a threat. And in that sense, women have a particular role in it because, as it was mentioned also yesterday, in several, I will not mention them all, but in several ways they have a particular role in that creation of wealth for the richer countries. One is by instance they are one of the main producers of labor force. And they are also, and that has been recognized, and UNRISD has been doing a lot of work on that also, they have become a central element in the systems of social protection. And very often they are seen as not contributing but taking from the social protection system. I think we should see it the other way around. It was mentioned, I think, this morning by somebody also, by working in hospitals, by working in education, by working in care of older people and so on. So this is, I think, very central to see migration and gender and migration particularly as contributing to prosperity. Another point that I wanted to highlight is that we have been discussing these 2 days on regional governance or regional spaces, and I think there is it's a discussion that comes quite importantly from the anthropology, I think, and the gender and race studies. It's another space, which is the transnational families or transnational spaces or transnational relations, and which makes us reflect a bit of more on the beyond frontiers, beyond state-nation models, and which is more what we have been focusing maybe these 2 days, because we were discussing more governance issues. And I think this new space is very inspiring, and I leave it as a point that I think gives new insights, and particularly on the shows us how big changes are happening in social relations and in power relations between men and women here and there, and changes in identities here and there. And finally, I want to emphasize another point which has been tackled a bit this morning, is the fact that gender studies and gender studies on migration open this reflection on migrant women as real subjects of change and not victims, not passive, moving persons. And I think this is one thing that I would like to emphasize also, that it's important to give voices to these persons, recognize their agency, see how they politicize also their activity. Somebody talks about on these migrant organizations or migrant women's organizations as a place where we can see the power of the powerless, a place where people who are not seeing themselves necessarily as victims claim for rights. And I think these are places which are very interesting to understand how maybe power relations between men and women change, and how you can get inspiration for changes to claim rights from elsewhere than maybe the spaces that we have been, or the places which we have been discussing these 2 days.